Hello everyone, welcome back. So, we have another plane. This one is going to be much more of a challenge than the last one. Obviously, as you can see, it's painted yellow. So I was thinking, why would somebody paint their plane yellow? Well, I could think of a couple reasons. Number one is yellow's their favorite color. But the real reason it kind of popped out into my head was this person who owned this plane had tools stolen, misappropriated, taken, lost. So they decided to paint their tools yellow so they could say, that's my tool, it's yellow. I have no clue. But I did a little research, and I think this is a Stanley 220. I'm not 100% sure. I obviously got to start cleaning it up to see if there's any markings on it, but I'm guessing that all of these fives on it was that this was supposed to be $5. But I got it for $2. So I did take it apart, and I'll show you that the only thing I saw on this was the blade is a Stanley blade with yellow paint on it and rust. And right here, let me get this out. It says USA. Now this is kind of throwing me off because all the 220s that I saw said made in the USA. So I have no clue. This wooden knob, the threads are shot in it, and they used a little piece of paper in there to tighten it up. It actually made it pretty tight. So we'll come up with some kind of solution to get those threads back. And then what else is on here? I don't see anything else. There might be a label under here that says Stanley 220 Stanley made 220 USA. I'm not sure if it is or it was taken off, but we'll try to find that out. And another thing I noticed is that this lever cap is actually aluminum, or a kind of like a pot metal, because a magnet will not stick to this. So probably not aluminum, because I don't think they had aluminum back when, well, yeah, aluminum's pretty old. But again, my research, when you try to research these Stanley planes, at least for me, it's very, very hard. There's really not a ton of I mean, there's a ton of information, but not a ton of detailed information. So, again, I don't know. I think this is pot metal or aluminum. Not really sure. But you know what we got to do. We got to clean this up because we got a lot of rust on here. Yeah, I don't know if this is just paint down here or whatnot, but she's got to be cleaned up. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to attack this one as far as having all this paint on it, but we'll get her done. So as soon as I get her cleaned up, as far as, you know, stripping it and everything that I got to do, I'll bring you back and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I'm not done stripping everything, but I did finish this one. This is some kind of, I'm going to guess it's either aluminum or a pot metal. And I did not want to soak it in my vinegar and salt solution because I was doing a little reading about it, and if it's pot metal, it could mess it up. So what I did was I put some baking soda in an old tin coffee can. Just I read it on some site. It said just about 1/8 of an inch of baking soda on the bottom with cold water. I submerged this into the water and I simmered it. It said to simmer for 30 minutes, but after about 15 minutes, I just stuck a skewer in there and the paint was just coming right off. So it did take off all the Japanning also, but again, I'm not concerned about that. I'm going to repaint everything, but I wanted to show you this one piece because what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see here, it's got some dings, and I don't know if that's from the casting. To be honest with you, it looks like it might be from the casting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to JB weld that and smooth that up, and I'm going to get this this painted. And when the other parts are done, soak it in the vinegar and salt. I'll show you what they look like. So I'll be back. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. So it came out great with the vinegar. We still have a lot of Japanning left. Not a ton of it. I still got a little bit over here I gotta kind of clean with a wire brush, but I don't see any major dings or dangs and bumps and bruises on this one, so that's looking good. It's got numbers here. What does that say? P29892J with an X5. The blade does say Stanley USA, and very, very lightly there. I believe it says number 220. So it is a 220. And the blade's in really nice shape. It's still sharp. It's amazing how these old planes, the irons, I keep calling them a blade, but it's an iron, keep their edge. So these nickel-plated knobs came out pretty good. Got a couple little pits and stuff in there. It's not a big deal. And like I said, got all of that yellow off. So looking good. I'll polish these up. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'll clean this up, the sole and the sides, and I'll paint this, repaint this again. And then I showed you the lever cap already. I got a surprise with that. And then the last thing is the knob, which is a whole nother story. But we'll get to that when I come back. So next step is final cleanup and painting. Clean up the blade and sharpen it. The blade. Why do I keep calling it the blade? The iron. Clean it up and sharpen it, and then I'll bring you back and we'll reassemble this. Alright, so we got it all painted up. Get a little polish on here. Nothing too drastic. This one could use a new nickel plating. That's something I may dabble in the future. But I wanted to show you something with the iron first. Let me slide this out of the way. So I didn't go crazy on the iron. I just cleaned up the edges. I sharpened it. I didn't want to lose the stamping in there with the Stanley 220. Or what does it say there? Oh man, it's so tiny. Mod 220J or something like that, with a T stamped in it. So all I did after the vinegar and salt bath was Scotch-Brite it, and then I sharpened it. And this is for Jamie from Journey North. I wanted to show you, I made a little jig to sharpen the iron. About 3 years ago, I made sanding blocks, which were just wing nuts and a couple pieces of maple to use with sandpaper to sand flat surfaces. So I had this one and I modified it. And what I did was I just put a couple bolts through the end. I didn't have carriage bolts that were the right size, otherwise I would have used those. So I just epoxied them in, and I got these little wheels from a shower door. and they end up working perfectly. Now I was looking for little casters. If you had little casters, I may rebuild this down the road if I could find like about 1 inch or less, like 3/4 inch casters, so I could put them directly on the bottom and I can get more of an angle. But this worked out pretty good, and I'll show you how it works. So basically you're going to open this up, take your iron, slide it in there. Now you're going to make sure that it's perpendicular sticking out, but I'll show you an easy way to do it. So here I have a flat surface, okay? So you're going to look at this, hopefully this shows up, and you slide the iron down until that is flat on there. So you have the right angle, okay? When you have the right angle, everything is good. Hold this down, tighten these up. Then you get yourself some Sharpie or some kind of marker and put it along the edge. And then when you roll this, and again, if I make another one, it'll be narrower so I can use it with stones. Right now I had to use it with this flat plate and some sandpaper. But you roll it like this, and then you look at the bottom and make sure that all of the marker comes off. If it only comes off at the tip, you have the angle wrong. If it only comes off at the back, you got the angle wrong. So basically then you'll run it like this. And you could get, this thing is very sharp. So that's how this little jig works for sharpening. 2 little wheels off of a shower door and my old sanding block. Alright Jamie, so now you got my jig, how I made the jig. Alright, so here's the iron. Now here's the body. I'll tell you what, this thing needed a lot more work than the first one did, but it came out really nice. The other hard part was this knob. What I had to do was, after I stripped off the old finish, there was like oil stains or something on it, and it had a crack. That's why it wasn't staying on. The crack went all the way from the base up to the top. So I had a choice. Try to repair this or make a new one. And I'll tell you, without a lathe, making something like this it's not impossible, but it's a daunting task. So I wanted to restore this one. And what I did was, I repaired the crack with CA glue. So I had the crack all done. I sanded it all down, and I JB welded new threads on the inside. And I let the this was drilled all the way down, almost to within maybe 3/16 of the end. So it was all hollow in there. So I let the JB weld go all the way down in there. So now this is totally repaired. And then I faux painted it. I was going for like a sort of a mahogany kind of look. I think it came out pretty good, and it's got a lacquer finish on it. I mixed burnt sienna, chocolate brown, and a like a crimson red to get this color. I did a full paint on it. Now to get the threads, what I did was I took some Teflon tape, put it around here, put the JB weld in here, put this on, and held it upside down. I actually I could have clamped it, but I just held it in my hand for like 5 minutes until the JB weld set up. Then I let it sit for about another 15 minutes, and then I unscrewed it. Cleaned up the JB weld, and now I have new threads. And it goes on tight. Boom. That's not going anywhere. So I think that looks pretty good. So let's get the rest of it together. All right. Oh, we got to put this in. You get an iron on. That should do it. Oh, one other thing. Check that out. So I made a little decal. It's okay. I wish I had a better picture to start with, like a high definition picture. But this looks like it's the original decal that came off of a Stanley 220. So it basically just says Stanley made 220 USA. I thought that added a nice touch. And it's basically just printed out on my printer. It's got clear tape on the front and then double stick tape on the back so I can take it off if it gets messed up. Or I find a better copy. Yeah, this one was definitely more challenging than the 66.5, but it also goes together much easier. Nice. So there she is. I just have some Johnson's paste wax on the steel. I think it looks pretty nice. So let's test her out. All right, we got that same piece of pine I used the last time. All right, let's see. This is the maiden cut. Oh, yeah. Look at that, huh? Look at the blade out a little too far. Man, that cut's nice. And I like this plane for the fact that it's very simple to adjust. You know, you don't have any other levers, you don't have to adjust the throat. Nice curls. So it works great. I think it looks pretty good. It definitely was a bigger challenge than the other one, but I enjoy a challenge. I'm definitely going to get some more, just for the simple fact that they're $2 a piece. It's like $2, I can't resist it. And I think he's got about, I'm going to say about 10 more. They're all different sizes and shapes. So I definitely want to get some more, because I'll tell you what, for me it's therapeutic to do stuff like this. I get so focused on my projects that anything else that's going on just kind of melts away, and this takes over. So it's a very, like I said, it's very therapeutic for me. You know, it just, I kind of stay very focused on what I'm doing, and you know, everything else in the world kind of goes away. There's no politics, there's no news, there's nothing in my head except what I'm doing, you know, restoring a plane. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna get some more. I don't know which ones. There was some kind of ones I was interested in. They look different than this. They kind of look like they had a stamped body or something. I don't know. I gotta check them out. But yeah, I do like this one for the simple fact that it's very easy to adjust. So there you have it. The yellow Stanley 220. That's not yellow anymore. So thanks for coming along, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find some cool items on your trips to the flea markets and yard sales, and make some videos on how you restored them. I'm sending you all much, much love and respect. And like always, everyone, I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate all your views. I hope you're staying well, and we'll see you on the next one.